With the many times you tell the audience to look away, I'm surprised you even have a second season.
The lumber mill is where the Baudelaires are forced to work. The eye doctor is sinister, the owner is a jerk.
You know, I hope that season 2 would never spoil me to what's going to happen in the new episodes. Reading.
Baudelaires are lost and unsupervised. Do you know what that means?
It means that you're terrible at your job, Mr. Poe. Of course, because it's Mr. Poe, he quickly went from afraid and urgent to eating samples of chowder.
Destinations. What the gum? Get a job, hitchhikers.
Well, at least they showed what would really happen when someone tries to hitchhike a ride, but that driver didn't hear the Baudelaires talking till this point. Instead of following the road that the driver was going to, the orphans dangerously walked into the woods. I know there was a fire in this town, but this is a town. Can't they just repair everything that was burnt, or at the very least clean up the aftermath mess of several buildings? Also on the subject, only the mill, a wooden lumber mill that produced wood, wasn't affected by the fire.
Maybe this is where all the clues lead us. The secret safe and the strange photographs that are on Josephine's.
The only strange photograph you saw was Josephine being brave. How does that relate to the mill?
The secret message and the strange statue lady at Uncle Monty's.
Once again, doesn't lead you to this mill.
And I could invent a catapult to get us over. Right about walls. There's the Wall of Jericho, the Great Wall of China.
Sure, talk about what you can make to go over the wall, and talk about the different kinds of walls. You know, the viewer needs to know more about walls.
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
And there goes even more stuff that confused to what era this takes place in, since the Wall movie Klaus mentioned was made in the 80s. But the surrounding environment feels like a different era, so pick a time this would take place in, show. So according to this sign, if anyone trespasses the mill, they would be forced to work, which sounds illegal to me. And I know the workers in this place is mind-controlled, but having a sign that says that if you enter the place, you would become a slave is really shady.
Does this make us trespassers? If we get caught, we'll just say we were on a school trip.
That won't work because no school would do trips around their burnt town. And of course, the Lucky Smells front gates are open for any trespassers to enter.
Poultryville used to be booming. We had a world food market, 2 hot yoga studios, and there was even talk of a water park.
But based on the photo, it looks like a very bland town to live in.
Luckily, the lumber mill survived, and the eye-shaped building, which actually belongs to... Oh, look, here we are.
Changing the subject for no reason. He's just about to say something but decided not to. Also, isn't it suspicious that the entire town except the lumber mill and the building with an eye on it burnt down?
Children, I'd like you to meet...
Call me Sir.
That introduction seems like Sir was expecting these children, because this is the first time they meet.
I thought we could take them in. Give them a loving, normative home.
Nonsense.
Okay, I have to agree with Sir. What Charles thought was dumb.
Put him to work in the mill.
And now what Sir said is dumb, because he decided to put 2 children and a baby to work at a very dangerous logging mill.
If you want to know about your parents, they...
Every time we're about to get some answers, seriously?
Klaus would be excellent at SeriesSins. Olaf and his hench people escaped and ran away with a car, so why is Count Olaf getting a ride with the Lucky Mill's driver?
And did they seem like orphans with an enormous fortune?
Yeah, because anyone can spot someone with those details. Here comes Phil, the annoying Optimus for this episode that we wish he wasn't in this series.
The new co-worker was an optimist, a word meaning person who thinks hopeful thoughts about even the bleakest situation. Optimist is not to be confused with optometrist, a word meaning healthcare professional who performs eye exams.
Which would be in this episode, so that's why we have an optimistic character in this episode.
The mill has a library.
Cripe f***ing damn it, the logging mill has a f***ing library? Does every building in this universe has a library? Even Mr. Poe's incredibly small house has a library? Stop with having libraries in places, show!
What if that eye really was a coincidence? What if we finally found a place where Count Olaf won't find us?
So you'd rather work at a mill forever than go place to place where Count Olaf would always be at?
Violet was asking the wrong questions. The questions you should have been asking. was, where does Count Olaf's ex-girlfriend work?
But why would Violet ask that question? The wrong question, she says, it's reasonable for her to say it, because she was being optimistic. Good that the show managed to get someone who was in the movie version of Series of Unfortunate Events to play a role. I was trying to sin something here, but I can't think of anything. But still good. Sin off.
So he isn't just knocking on Dr. Orwell's door because he needs something for himself.
That is exactly the reason.
Sorry, I have my own life now, with my own evil scheme.
And her evil schemes is to mind control an entire mill because... reason.
And you agree what we have to do?
Of course, clear their
Get out
names.
of here.
We clear their names, maybe we can finally get some answers.
Because that makes a lot of sense. Let's look at this fake window with a painted moon that transitioned to real trees with a fake moon. Seriously, who the f are these guys? And cut to another place that shows 3 children and blueberry pancakes, because it's telling us something. Worst poster ever. In one shot, there is a machine next to the foreman's stand, but on the next shot, the machine isn't there. Seriously, this must be the worst logging mill I ever seen if it has signs that tells you things you shouldn't do in a logging mill. Even though Sunny has incredibly strong teeth, this would actually hurt her.
Lady, we're not paid in wages. We're paid in coupons.
Once again, a very suspicious lumber mill if workers are paid in useless coupons.
Lucky Smells is our life. Lucky Smells is our home.
Okay, it's to this point that these workers are hypnotized or mind-controlled in some way.
It's a new foreman. Ricky's Count Olaf, and he is cruel like Count Olaf, but Count Olaf runs a horrible theater company, not a lumber mill.
And he didn't own a boat rental place, but that didn't stop him being sham. Hook-handed henchman in costume is addicted to Klaus's glasses.
I'll be fine. Maybe I can find some answers.
Maybe I can find some answers too.
And also the foreman is a hook-handed hench- Oh, she left. Oh well.
Let's run away to Europe and find a charming little country to take over.
Because we're evil. Once again, with all the buildings burnt down, this is the only one that still stands.
I know going to the doctor can be scary, but doctors are your friends.
As anyone who's been to a doctor knows, doctors are not necessarily your friends.
Show continues the myth that doctors are scary people that does bad things because you're ill.
I myself once fought with a most unfriendly refrigerator repair person. I wonder whatever happened to him.
Oh, he's going to get his ass kicked by Lego Batman and that one S.H.I.E.L.D. agent from the Avengers.
Who would want so many copies of the same book?
A bookseller?
Whenever Klaus reads a long, difficult book, the first thing he does is reads the table of contents.
All goes to the middle of the book, because all the answers would be there. It's a usual cliche, but hey, the chapter Violet is looking for is in the middle of the chapter pages. Good thing there is at least one book where Sir didn't cross out important information. Also, of course, it does say that the Baudelaires was putting out the fire and finding survivors, but why did Sir put that in the first part of the chapter when it's about the fire? Shouldn't it be the start of who was the one who made the fire? Also, in this part, it tells that a guy named Roy might be the one who started the fire, which in this book doesn't evidence that he is the one, but it says that some people suspected that he was the one who started the fire. So where's the Roy rumors? Violet hears a noise and went to hide, but forgot to bring the book with her. Good, Violet and Sunny found a book that their dad borrowed. Why is this important? Okay, I get that the optometrist is bad in this episode, but you don't have to make the optist look like the dentist, which is a complete myth that they're bad and scary.
That sounds like you may have had a bad experience with one. Wonder who she was.
Or if she ever practiced optometry again.
Or if she is a female. I get this would hypnotize Klaus, but would showing a bunch of pictures hypnotize people? Obvious it's Count Olaf is obvious.
Violet? That's not a window.
Well, at least someone addresses that. In the night, Klaus went to sleep with his shoes on, so why is he walking with his shoes off? Throwing wood into a grinder while holding a f***ing baby.
They're probably somewhere in enjoying a hot cup of coffee in front of a roaring fire.
Okay, I get with the whole fire thing. I get that the parents died in the fire, but does it have to be an upbringing gag?
We fought a host of unsavory characters, including a most unfriendly refrigerator repair person. We've flown a plane into a hurricane, we've been to Peru and back to get home to our children, and today, finally, we'll all be together. What could be wrong?
You said what could be wrong. Now everything would be wrong.
If you're still in there, I want you to know I miss you. An inordinate amount.
It's revealed that inordinate is a hypnotized break word for Klaus. But what are the odds for Violet to say that word?
But we need to...
liar! Go to the very fancy door.
Since the foreman in this lumber mill is the hook-handed tench person, I doubt he would allow the parents to meet with the children, which ruins the real twist.
But they can't come inside, because that would be trespassing. And then they'd be put to work.
Once again, that doesn't sound right. I am not going to lie. The first time I watched this, I actually got caught off guard that the parents are not the Baudelaires. I was very surprised to see this, and so because of this, I personally take a good 5 cents off for this. Joe moves the camera away to make sure the Count Olaf costume is a secret for a little longer.
It was long after the Lucky Smells lumber mill had closed its doors.
Oh, give me a break with spoilers!
Where is Count Olaf?
Right there!
You might be wondering about the identity of the mysterious caller who rang to inquire about the Baudelaires. They were of no help whatsoever.
Because the caller is Mr. Poe. Do I have to explain more?